What's up, everybody? Justin here to do a new WrestleMania themed show because we're in WrestleMania season. We're on the road to WrestleMania 34. I can't wait for it. I don't know if it's going to be a better show than last year. I'm not going to judge it until it's over. Then I'll judge it and I'll grade it. But WrestleMania themed show, and I would like to thank John Ridlin. Check out his YouTube channel, subscribe to his YouTube, watch his videos, like them, and share them. His YouTube channel, I subscribe to it. It's called Real Honesty with John Ridlin, a good friend of mine on Twitter. So subscribe to his channel. He is the one that made me think that I should do this show. He did one first. It was his idea. He did it first. He did the top 10 most emotional WrestleMania moments. He did his own top 10 most emotional WrestleMania moments. Check it out. It's on his channel. Again, subscribe to his channel, Real Honesty with John Ridlin. So thank you, John, for this show idea. I don't want to rip your idea off. That's why I DM'd you about it. So I was going to do a top 15 most emotional, my most emotional WrestleMania moments, but I thought I came up with a few more, so this is a top 20. Top 20 most emotional WrestleMania moments. This is just my top 20. If you have your own top 20 or top 10, leave them in the comments. Number 20. Number 20 is WrestleMania 20, the end of it. After Chris Benoit, yes, I said his name, and I'm not ashamed. I'm not afraid to say his name. It was an awful thing that he did. Awful thing. He'll never be forgiven. He'll never be put in the Hall of Fame. And he never should be put in the WWE Hall of Fame. Just a horrible, horrible tragedy. You talk about tragedies in wrestling. That really hurt WWE for probably 5 years. It hurt them. It probably hurt their business. And because of what he did, thankfully they came up with the wellness policy. So that's a very good thing, that he came up with the wellness policy. So I don't know what's the worst tragedy, the Von Erichs or what Chris Benoit did to his wife and his child. I would have to think the Von Erichs, that's a worse tragedy. That's awful. What happened to the Von Erich family? Because I believe 3 of the Von Erichs committed suicide out of 5 of them. So here we go. Number 20 would be Eddie Guerrero. Loved Eddie when he was a wrestler, when he was still alive. Loved him when he won the WWE title. I liked him before that, but I thought he was a good WWE champion. Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, best friends. Both got world championships on their shoulder. They're both holding world championships. Eddie, the WWE championship. Benoit, the world heavyweight championship. And they both embrace and they hug in the middle of the ring. Confetti coming down to end WrestleMania 20. Just a great emotional end. Eddie, you could see when he was hugging Chris, Eddie was crying. Tears of joy, tears of happiness. Benoit was doing the same. Tears of joy, tears of happiness. I mean, I'm not excusing what Chris Benoit did to his family, but I'm just talking about the man and his wrestling career. Him as a wrestler. Him in the wrestling business. That's what I'm basing this on. Benoit was probably crying because the guy worked for 18 years. He worked as a pro wrestler, busted his ass to get the World Heavyweight Championship. So number 20, most emotional WrestleMania moments would be Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit embracing at the end of WrestleMania 20, both world champions, and we all know they are best friends. There's Eddie right there over my shoulder. I loved Eddie. So number 19 would be, again, this is a top 20 most emotional WrestleMania moments. Again, thank you, John, for making me think of the idea that I should do a show, too, of emotional WrestleMania moments, because there's been a lot of them. So number 19 is WrestleMania 25, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, epic WrestleMania match with Mr. WrestleMania in it and the Dead Man. You had the Streak against Mr. WrestleMania. The entrances were epic. Shawn Michaels coming down from the heavens like this in all white gear. Just epic entrances. And the match was one of the best in WrestleMania history. So number 19, it was an emotional ride. They took us on WrestleMania 25, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels. Number 18, WrestleMania 26, a year later, Shawn Michaels. If he loses, he must retire against The Undertaker again. And it was great. It was an emotional match. For me, I was really emotional after Shawn Michaels lost. Stood in the ring, left the ring, waved to the fans, and I started crying my eyes out. I couldn't hold it in. I just started crying because I love Shawn Michaels. The guy's one of my favorite wrestlers. The guy's in my top 3 all-time favorites. I mean, just thinking about it, I'm getting emotional just thinking about it. Shawn Michaels' last match, WrestleMania 26 against The Undertaker, and I'm glad he has not tried to make a comeback or come out of retirement. WWE's probably asked him, do you want to come out of retirement? And I'm sure he's told them no. And Shawn Michaels still has got it. I think the guy's 50 years old or whatever he is. I don't know his age. I think he's 51. I think he's 51. He's either 50 or 51. I think he's 51. So Shawn Michaels at 51, the guy could probably still put on a 5-star match with anybody on the roster. Let's see, that was number 18, number 17. Number 17 is WrestleMania 31. And if I look down, it's because I'm reading the matches I wrote for this WrestleMania Top 20. So number 17 would be WrestleMania 31. After the Sting Triple H match, I hated the outcome. I hated that Triple H had to win. Very stupid. Very dumbass booking. The only reason I can think of why Triple H won, because Vince wanted Triple H, a WWE guy, to win over Sting and bury WCW once and for all, I guess. But after the match, it was emotional for me. Emotional moment. WrestleMania 31, the NWO came out, and after the match, the NWO was in the ring with Sting against DX and Triple H. They were facing off. That was awesome. That was an emotional WrestleMania moment, in my opinion. Number 16, WrestleMania 32. The Women's Championship is back. Brought out of retirement. Women's title is back. I believe on the kickoff, Lita presented it in the ring and revealed the new title. It looks kind of stupid because it was red. WWE logo, but the belt was red. Red and white. And it looked pretty stupid. But I understand why it was red, because it was going to be on Monday Night Raw, I guess. So, number 16, WrestleMania 32 Women's Title Triple Threat Match. Charlotte, Sasha, Becky tore the house down. Had a great triple threat match. In a very good WrestleMania women's match. Probably one of the best ever in WrestleMania history. I mean, when I saw Becky, Sasha, Charlotte in the triple threat, I did think of Bayley, and I thought it's kind of sad that Bayley's not caught up yet and put in this match to make it a 4 horsewomen 4-way. That would have been awesome. But we got to see that in NXT. The 4 horsewomen face off. Number 15. Undertaker's streak ends at WrestleMania 30. It was an emotional WrestleMania moment. I wasn't emotional at all when Undertaker lost to Brock. I was shocked and really surprised, but I wasn't emotional. But it was an emotional WrestleMania moment. There were a lot of fans in the Superdome were crying and looked shocked. Especially that black guy in the front row. I think he works for WWE now, but his eyes were like popped out of his head. That was damn funny. Because he was so shocked. Again, I was shocked, but I don't know. I was in a daze. I don't remember the match. I don't remember how I really felt. I was just in a daze. I don't know why. But it was an emotional moment for all Undertaker fans. I'm a fan of The Undertaker, but he was never my favorite wrestler. Number 14. This was kind of emotional, but I didn't get emotional, but it was an emotional WrestleMania moment. Vince McMahon has his head shaved at WrestleMania 23. That was pretty awesome, because he was the boss. He is the boss. Vince, he'll do anything for his company. Got his head shaved at WrestleMania. That's number 14. Vince getting his head shaved at WrestleMania 23. Number 13. This was an emotional match. It was awesome. Emotional match and pretty awesome. WrestleMania moment. Number 13 is Edge against Mick Foley. Extreme Rules, WrestleMania 22, and Flaming Table. Flaming Table spear by Edge through the second rope, spears Mick Foley. It was awesome and really emotional match, I thought. Number 12, another emotional match. I didn't cry, I didn't get emotional, but I thought it was awesome. I thought it was great. I loved the match. Both of these guys, talent, just two of the biggest stars ever in wrestling. Stone Cold Steve Austin, number 12. Stone Cold Steve Austin, Bret Hart, WrestleMania 13. They took us on an emotional roller coaster. It was awesome. Austin came in the match as a heel, left as a babyface, and the blood running down his face, running down his nose and his mouth as he's screaming in the sharpshooter. Then Austin passes out. Just a really emotional match. It was awesome. It made it even better that Ken Shamrock was a referee for it, and basically made his WrestleMania debut at WrestleMania 13. Number 11, another emotional match. Father versus son. That's insane, but it happened. Number 11, Shane McMahon against Mr. McMahon, WrestleMania 17. That match was pretty emotional because it was father versus son. And it was Shane revealed himself as the new owner of WCW. That is pretty historic and awesome. Of course, it's just a storyline. Vince is the one who bought WCW. Shane was not the real owner. For anybody that is, I guess, still believes in kayfabe, I don't know. Or believed it is real. So Shane McMahon, Vince, from WrestleMania 17 is number 11. Number 10, Kurt Angle, Brock Lesnar, WrestleMania 17. It was an emotional match. For me, watching it, I was scared. I was really scared for Kurt Angle. The guy wrestled that match basically with a broken neck. He needed neck surgery very badly. But he still worked the match because he wanted to put Brock over, because Kurt Angle was the ultimate professional. Wanted to put Brock over. Kurt knew that Kurt was still in his prime, by the way, in 2003. But Kurt knew, Brock, this guy's a future. I got to put him over at WrestleMania, and I can't miss it. And then, oh my God, Brock almost landed on his head. That was emotional too, because Brock almost died. Tried a shooting star press, and Kurt was way too far away, and Brock thought he could hit it. Did a shooting star press, basically landed on his forehead. Could have broke his neck, could have been paralyzed. That was insane. Number 9. Bret Hart's WrestleMania 26 return. Bret Hart returns to WrestleMania. That was an emotional match. Bret against Vince. And Vince, for Vince screwing Bret, he let Bret get payback by beating him over and over with a chair. So at least Bret got some payback, and hopefully it made him feel better, and hopefully he's not bitter still about the Montreal screw job, because come on, Bret. Vince has welcomed you back. He put out a DVD of you, a couple DVDs of Bret Hart and the Hart family. He put you in the Hall of Fame. He let you return to the ring at WrestleMania, even though Bret, I'm going to be honest here, Bret was in no condition to be in the ring having a WrestleMania match, and it was pretty sad to watch. I mean, I was still excited to see Bret Hart return. He's never been my favorite wrestler, but it doesn't matter. I respect him and what he's done for wrestling and what his family's done. But Bret was in no condition to try to have a good match, and he wasn't going to have a good match anyways with Vince. It was made a street fight, and I'm happy for Bret that at least he got to get in there at WrestleMania and beat up Vince with a chair. So that's number 9, Bret Hart's WrestleMania return at WrestleMania 26, because that was pretty emotional for a lot of fans. Number 8, TLC 2. TLC 2 at WrestleMania 17. That was an emotional match. That was like a car crash. That was pretty frightening to watch as a fan, because all 6 guys almost killed each other. I mean, Jeff Hardy, Jeff Hardy's insane. And Edge is insane, but Jeff Hardy is hanging from the belt, and he gets speared like 15 feet in the air. That's the greatest spear of all time. And what a WrestleMania moment that is. To see Edge jump off that ladder and spear Jeff Hardy, that's one of the best WrestleMania moments. That's at least top 10 or top 5. So number 8's TLC 2, because they took us on an emotional roller coaster. Number 7, Austin 3:16 says, "I'm with Mr. McMahon." That was insane. Stone Cold Steve Austin turns heel and joins Mr. McMahon, shakes his hand, hugs him, has a beer with him, toasts a beer to him, or toasts a beer with him. Again at WrestleMania 17. WrestleMania 17 has taken up 3 spots in this top 20. WrestleMania 17 is one of the best WrestleManias. Not the best, but one of. So that was pretty insane. That was an emotional moment because I never thought Stone Cold would embrace and join Mr. McMahon. Number 6, WrestleMania 19. Hulk Hogan, Vince McMahon, or Hulk Hogan, Mr. McMahon, or Hollywood Hulk Hogan, whatever you want to call him, against Mr. McMahon. WrestleMania 19, I loved it. It was an emotional match for me as a fan watching because at the time, 2003, I loved Hogan. I still love Hogan. But I wanted Hogan to beat Vince's ass really badly. And they had it was a street fight. It had to be because neither guy could work or pull off a good match. And I thought they both did their job. And they put on a great street fight for the fans. It was a lot of history. It was a great build-up. Vince talking about, you left me for WCW in 94. That you left my ass and you tried to put me out of business, stuff like that. And then even the contract signing they had on SmackDown, that was awesome. With Mean Gene and Vince stabbed Hogan with a pen in his head. Hogan got busted open, Vince kept stabbing him with a pen, and then Vince signed the contract in Hogan's blood. So number 6, most emotional WrestleMania moment, Hogan versus Mr. McMahon, WrestleMania 19. Number 5. Just a great matchup. Great emotion in it. Number 5 is Ricky Steamboat, Macho Man, Randy Savage from WrestleMania 3 for the Intercontinental title. Possibly, maybe, the best match from the 1980s. It was epic. It was emotional. It was awesome. Number 4. Macho Man makes a list again. Makes a countdown again. Macho Man. It was emotional. At least in my opinion it was. Macho Man wins the WWF Championship at WrestleMania 8. But then after the match, the real emotion started. Because Miss Elizabeth ran down to the ring to try to help Randy. Because Mr. Perfect was in Flair's corner helping him. Basically, they were cheating the whole match. But Miss Elizabeth gets kissed on the lips by Ric Flair in the ring. That was pretty awesome. That was emotional because Randy snapped when he saw it, jumped on Flair. It was awesome. And then after the match, in a promo after the match, Macho Man did an epic promo. Handed the title to Miss Elizabeth, said, "Here, this is yours." And then he ripped his gear shirt, and then he's yelling, "Ric Flair, this is yours," saying, "I don't care where I find you, parking lot, street, backstage." And Macho Man basically said, "When I find you, Ric Flair, I'm going to beat your ass." Great promo after the match. Watch it on the network. That's a great promo. So, Macho Man wins the title WrestleMania 8, and Flair kisses Miss Elizabeth, and Macho Man also, he might be one of the only guys that won the WWF Championship at WrestleMania twice. He won it at 4, and he won it at WrestleMania 8. There might be other, I think Stone Cold has won the title twice. WrestleMania 15 and WrestleMania 17. I don't know if anybody else has done it more than twice. So number 3, Ric Flair's final match. Ric Flair's retirement. He loses to Shawn Michaels. Ric Flair went out on top, had a great send-off, great retirement, and after Ric Flair lost, I lost it. And I got really emotional. I couldn't control myself. I just started crying like really hard, insane. I couldn't stop crying until Ric Flair left and got off my TV screen. Just damn emotional. And I got emotional because I love Ric Flair. The guy's in my top 3 favorites of all time. Number 2. This was damn emotional. Probably this could have been number 1. Number 2, Miss Elizabeth and Macho Man Randy Savage embrace and hug. Just damn emotional. It was so great. So great to see. Now, as a young kid, when I saw it, I didn't get emotional. I just thought it was cool that Macho Man was going back to being a babyface. But now, I mean, talking 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, when I still watch it, Miss Elizabeth hugging Randy and they embrace at WrestleMania 7 after Macho Man loses a retirement match, which was awesome. It was booked perfectly. And I'm sure Macho Man booked the entire match out. Warrior did not make that match great. Savage made it great and carried Warrior and made him look damn good. I guess Randy wanted Warrior to put his foot over his chest. That was stupid. I did not like that. But I guess it's Macho Man's idea. So, just Miss Elizabeth, Macho Man embracing, reuniting. I believe they were close to being divorced at that time, but they embrace and they reunite. The fans loved it. A lot of fans are crying. And as I said, after I got to be probably 20 years old, after I was 20, I would always get emotional. I still get emotional when I see Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth embrace at WrestleMania 7. That's one of the most emotional WrestleMania moments ever. But now we go to number 1. My opinion. My WrestleMania most emotional moments. This is number 1. Hulk Hogan body slamming Andre the Giant and the main event of WrestleMania 3, Hogan versus Andre, but it was damn emotional for me to still watch it. Hogan somehow picking up Andre the Giant. I don't know how he did it. He has said in interviews that he tore all his muscles in his shoulders and tore some of his leg muscles because Andre is probably well over 500 pounds. Maybe he's like, I don't know, maybe he's like 450. Who knows? But Hogan body slamming Andre the Giant at WrestleMania 3 and that main event, probably still the biggest main event of all time in WrestleMania history, in my opinion. Number 1, Hogan body slamming Andre the Giant and defeating him. Because before that, nobody defeated Andre the Giant. The guy never ever lost. He was undefeated for 15 years before he lost at WrestleMania 3. And he let Hogan body slam him. I believe in the ring. He told Hogan in the ring. At least I believe Hogan said this in an interview. He told Hogan in the ring. He said, slam me, boss. I don't know why he called him boss, but he just said, slam me, boss. And Hogan did it. Somehow he did it. Pontiac Silverdome exploded. And as a young kid, I was only 3 years old, so I did not see WrestleMania 3 live, but I got to see it back when I was like 4 or 5, and I loved it. Number 1, Hogan body slamming Andre, the most emotional WrestleMania moment for me. What are your most emotional WrestleMania moments? Leave them in the comments. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. This was my top 20 most emotional WrestleMania moments. Like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Twitter at WWE NXT Guy. Enjoy NXT. If you're watching it tonight, I will be. Bye for now.